Good afternoon, everyone. Well, this is my last task of this subject, individual factors in the learner's development. My name is Odilia Mayra Guirado Ferrara, and our instructor and mentor is Dr. Allen Aquino Trinidad. Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Odilia Guirado, and my students call me Odi. I've been a teacher for more than 20 years, and throughout my teaching career, well, I have worked with both with children and adults, and also in junior high school. I am originally a veterinarian. However, I got the Ceneval's accreditation for becoming a professional English teacher. And last year, I had the invaluable opportunity to take the Buckingham's PGCE program, which made me grow highly professionally. And therefore, I registered to this master's degree since I feel very, very motivated to learn more about teaching, more about the factors that affect our class, our learners' development. Okay, along this course, what did I learn? Well, I learned a lot. Firstly, that there are cognitive, affective, physical, and psychological factors that influence our learners' performance. It is not that they don't want to learn or that they had a bad attitude. No, it's multifactorial. Well, which are these individual factors in the learner's development? The first factor is the cognitive. In the past, it was believed that this cognitive factor was highly related to intelligence, that intelligent people were the ones that had the ability to learn a language. This is not true because we all have learned our first language. And so this theory is no longer acceptable. However, Gardner later came up with his multiple intelligence theory, in which he says, okay, there's an intelligence, a cognitive factor, but it's how the students learn. So he came up with different styles, different intelligence that affect our students. For example, visual spatial, musical, bodily kinesthetic, spiritual, linguistic, etc. All of us have certain likes and dislikes, and we learn in different ways. Also, our language aptitude, the cognitive style that some students are dependent. They depend on others. They are more social. They need socializing in order to acquire this language, whereas others are more independent learners. They can easily learn by reading. They learn in a more intrapersonal way. And also the learning styles, in which we have kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. Then, the affective factors such as motivation, which caught my attention a lot, because motivation can be extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivation comes from the surroundings, from the environment, the learning environment. For example, prizing positively your students or or creating this safe learning environment so they feel willing to participate, willing to learn. And this extrinsic type of motivation then later becomes an intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic means that the learner per se is learning for the mere uh, this learner wants to learn somehow for any purpose. Therefore, we are going to separate this intrinsic motivation into instrumental and integrative. Instrumental is when the learner has um, he or she wants to learn the language because he's going to pass an exam, he needs to travel abroad, he needs to study in a university in another country. So he wants to learn the language because of this reason. However, when it is integrative, This person tries to learn the language for social reasons because he wants to be part of a group. He wants to use this language to communicate with others. There are also physical factors like age, children, teenagers, and adults. It is believed that children speak more, it is not that they speak more fluently, but they acquire a better accent, a more a closely to native um, accent because they are given they are given a clearer input and for they acquire the language naturally. Teenagers, however, are believed to be better at language learner. They acquire language grammar rules better and more effectively than children, whereas adults have a reason to study. Most adults study English or any other language because they need it for job reasons, for traveling reasons, etc. However, Penfield and Roberts came up with a critical period hypothesis. They say that children up to 10 years old are better learners. According to them, they acquire this language easier. However, Krashen said that it is not that there's a critical period hypothesis, but that the children are given a clearer input. The input we give to children is clearer and more easily, they are exposed to more comprehensible input. Well, another factor is anxiety. Anxiety per se is something that all of us feel in certain level. For example, in this moment, I feel a little bit nervous for being recording this video. However, it can be a trait anxiety because it's a trait of personality. Some students are more anxious than others. It can be a state, for example, when they react to a particular situation, or it can be situational. This is the most common in the language classroom. For example, being in an exam, public speaking, having to present something, etc. So there are different types of anxiety. And finally, the tolerance of ambiguity. This is when the student is capable of understanding that not everything in the language can be explained. There are in the language systems there are things that cannot be explained because the language was born that way and was developed through history in certain way. So these students that have tolerance of ambiguity are believed to be better learners. Okay, so, in the end, what task I enjoyed the most? Well, the task that I enjoyed the most was making the poster of physical and psychological factors because it helped me reflect upon my practice. I started thinking in all of the groups that that I have had in the past and now, and how all these factors has have affected in certain way to my students despite their age, despite their psychological factors, etc., how these factors affected them in order to acquire and to learn this language, and which were the purposes for them to know, to understand, and to learn the language. And it was really enriching because I did not only use the anthology provided by Dr. Aquino, but also I started a further research which enriched a lot what I already knew about these factors. Okay, my plan to keep on learning about these factors is to, well, I reflected upon what kind of learner I am and I came up with the conclusion that my style is more independent. I like more reading, research, making independent research. I love looking for up to date information to be aware of what is going on in the world about education. So I am also a reflective learner. Sorry, I am capable of understanding what is happening in my classroom, what my misunderstandings were, and how can I can improve. So I will definitely apply what I learned in this course on my own classroom and come up with conclusions of my own. I did really enjoy this course. Thank you, Mr. Aquino, Dr. Aquino, sorry. And I hope that you are our teacher later. So I found this course absolutely necessary to enhance my teaching practice. Thank you very much. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.